So all hail Liberia Hill, glorious land of liberty. On the 9th day of August 2023, 62 days to election, we are moving gradually. The Kisi people gradually but gradually. Except for a force majeure situation, Liberians will go to the polls on October 10. It is a fixed date. And the process is keeping with constitutional provision as a credential of a democratic republic. So we'd like to say good afternoon to you. This is State of the Nation. My name is Kolba Siafa, ably assisted by Findasa. I know how sometimes you're tiring. You're so tired to listen to us. We step on toes. We also let other people's up. Sorry. That is the beauty of life. You don't like what I say sometimes because I haven't declared support for you. But some people cannot go without this platform. So we're shouting for the Lone Star. Good afternoon to you. So on a wet Wednesday, we're back on the radio with 19 minutes up to 3 o'clock. Let me welcome my co-presenter, Magdalene. Magdalene, good afternoon to you. How are you?
Good afternoon to you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Yes, so good afternoon to you. It's good to be back here. Good afternoon to our listeners. Good afternoon to our viewers as well. I'm excited to be here this afternoon and appreciate God for the gift of life. Appreciate God so much for the opportunity to be alive.
Oh, are you smiling?
Yes, it's a grateful face.
Okay. So it's good to have you and welcome back again to the show. We've been in a long haul since this morning, trying to put some pieces together for the proposed presidential debate under the auspices of the State of the Nation. Where are we?
Yeah, so we are actually climaxing all of the consultative meetings right here in the confines of Truth FM on the auspices of State of the Nation and Advanced Media Consultancy, where you are the founder and general OS. No, founder. Not. I mean, I'm a church now.
General overseer.
So the CEO, founder and CEO of this media consultancy. So it's intended to hear from presidential candidates about what are their plans of action for the Liberian people. And so while we were working on the promo, yes, it's included. You're going to listen to it when it comes out. And this is it's something that we all know. I mean, Article 1 of the Liberian Constitution tells us that we, the Liberian people, the majority, the Liberian people, are the decision maker. Yes. So you want to hear from those that you're going to employ on the 10th of October. You need to know what they have, in the pipeline. So we need them to answer some of these questions that you have on your mind. So also be preparing. It's going to be at one of the prestigious hotel in town, and so we are working tirelessly to ensure that it becomes successful with the help of God. So it's good to be here again. Thanks to God for the opportunity to be alive. I have an alarm on my phone, but it did not wake me up this morning. It is God's intervention, so I must be grateful to God.
Okay, thank you. And the viewers who joining us on this presentation, good afternoon to you. Eman Hammond. Eman is reminding us of 62 days to election. Let us maintain the peace. Eman has already sent his recording as peace ambassador to this station and to this platform, State of the Nation. Very soon, we are processing it now. By the time it's processed, we will definitely play intermittently. He's also wishing the people of Buffalo County condolences for the loss of Daniel Nathan, Austin Tapia, you are there as well, Patrick Flomo, colleague, all of you are our motivation. Without you, we shouldn't be sitting here because we believe in the rights of the people. And when they are waiting for credible news and information, well, you should be a proud person that they tune into you to be educated by you. So first, before we go on, the rights of the people as enshrined in the preamble of the United States Constitution, which is no different from our preamble of the Constitution of the preamble of our Constitution. It has to tell you this one. Let's hear this one before we move on.
Necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such forms as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security.
That's exactly, and we want to be the medium through which you will decide on that one. As a matter of fact, the incumbent George Weah, president of the Republic of Liberia, is in and out in Mosrado on a heavy downpour of rain. His storm is currently in across the bridge in district number 13 of Mosrado, asking the people for another mandate, asking the people under the rain without the comfort. So you see, human being, without the comfort home and in offices, it is because of your strength, your power, that the president is out in the rain asking you again for another 6 years. So do not overlook yourself.
Yes.
Do not overlook yourself. The comfort in which he lives, or his team live, you don't. But guess what? They have to come down. Like what the wise people can say, the ego will have to come down to drink muddy water, no matter how high you go. That is why the folks are in. And others will come in the street subsequently. Others wanting to occupy the seat will come subsequently to ask you. Interestingly, campaign period is in the heaviest rainfall as recorded in our geography. And then let them come and see what you go through daily on commuting from one town to the other, or from one capital city of a county to the other.
So, Chief, so I want to read Article 1 of the Liberian Constitution and just focus on that so you can do some interpretation before we can go further. Yeah, please. So, all power is inherent in the people. All free governments are instituted by their authority and for their benefit, and they have the right to alter and reform the same when their safety and happiness so required. So in order to show democratic government which responds to the wishes of the governed, the people shall have the right at such period and in such manner as provided for under this constitution to cause their public servants to leave office and to fill vacancies by regular elections.
That is Article 1 of our Constitution.
So don't overlook yourself.
Do not overlook yourself. That is why we said we will give you the platform where you have to interact with these people one-on-one as we prepare for that presidential debate. You are the employer. That's why they are in all the songs and rings to come to you. To come to you, asking you for another mandate. So on today's edition of State of the Nation, with 10 minutes up to 3 o'clock. At 3, we play host to former Defense Minister Brownie Jeffrey Samoka. Brownie Jeffrey Samoka Jr. is our guest at 3 o'clock. We're going to talk a lot about a whole lot, about where he has been. Why has he been so quiet? And what is his position on the current political situation in our country? We will also try to delve into the West African sub-region, where he once upon a time became member of the Council of Defense Authorities of member countries. Brownie Jeffrey Samoka is at 3 o'clock and is going to be relayed on Radio Live in Zaza and Kintoma in Vonjama, respectively, on Real TV, Truth FM online. Of course, we are on 96.1. It is the radio service of the Renaissance Communications Incorporated. And at 4 o'clock, we take a former police strongman, Ahaji Ebi Kroma, will be our guest. He is so silent for long. How is life in the private sector? We go strictly into his stewardship as deputy for operation at the Liberian National Police those days. What was his secret for his successes scored in keeping criminals off the street? These and much more are lined up this afternoon on State of the Nation. This is the right of the people.
In the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. At least respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men deriving the just powers of the consent of the government, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such forms as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. In a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing independently the same object, to reduce them under absolute despotism. It is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security.
So that's why we're here, and the process is on. Campaign is in the 5th day since declared by the National Elections Commission. Liberians are kind-hearted people. They will open their hearts, their minds, and their hands to politicians who they once upon a time pointed out to have caused their problem, what they go through today. But you will have the opportunity, one-on-one between you and your God and your country, in that box or room, where you will either say no or yes to an individual, whether representative, senatorial, or presidential. That is coming out on 10 October. State of the Nation. Let's get words from our sponsor, Orange Liberia. Of course, this is Liberia's biggest GSM network and telephone company. That is Orange Liberia. Here.
On the side, we don't worry about things that direct connection at all. There's a package for me, there's a package for you, there's a package for everyone. Smooth and understand. I can reach out my West Mongolia and enjoy with confidence.
To activate, dial star 888 hash or subscribe via My Orange app. $1 gives you 50 minutes on net calls and 5 minutes off net calls, while the same dollar gives you 500 megabytes of data. Valid 24 hours. Enjoy using the best mobile network, certified by Ookla second time in a row. Visit our website, www.orange.com.lr, or call 111 for more information.
Brings you closer to what matters.
Orange.
Hey, Josie, ma, please walk me up really near Jalosha. Jalosha, what to the junction there? Yeah, but we recharge for the weekend. I enjoy the reach. By the way, the people get 1 gigabyte for $2 for 7 days.
Starting at $2, you can create your own 4G LTE data pack with the #1 mobile network operator in Liberia. Dial star 352 hash or subscribe via the My Orange app. Enjoy using the fastest mobile network, certified by Ookla second time in a row.
Brings you closer to what matters.
Orange.
Right? So, fast-speed internet and followable data pack. I have no excuse to not get one router in my house. Yeah. Let me run now to support them for me and the family.
Get your home internet router from any Orange store or POS around the country and enjoy affordable data packs that start from $9 for 10 gigabytes valid 30 days to $59 for 125 gigabytes valid 30 days. There's a pack for everyone. Enjoy using the fastest speed internet.
Brings you closer to what matters.
Orange.
Here's an individual who did an administrative action, which was totally rejected by everyone. And then they come back and say, look, if the
I don't have it. I use a different phone. Right? You text it to me.
To have been wrong and to correct that.
Yeah.
Who are we to say that we cannot give the person a second chance?
So, if the most important, for example, cannot forgive very wrong, because
Yeah.
You know
No,
the good
he said to this one, I don't know why he came back to me.
But you should not take him.
yeah.
Then we'll let it take.
No, the issue is not miracle. No. Let's get a little bit less emotional and put a little bit of reason. You sit over there and work in an institution as an honorable member of the legislature. You make comments to suggest that there is nothing anybody has done in that legislature that would have required them not to be where they are. Are you suggesting that even all of the individuals, including you, have committed no sin, have committed no administrative fault? Let us not put ourselves in a position where we begin to question other people's integrity. So I would suggest, get less emotional. The president has taken a decision. You have the legal prerogative as senators, as representatives, as our legislators, to decide to agree with the president or not to agree. Don't question the president's decision to do that. Then vote against it. Vote against it. We can find things in people closet here. You're talking about human rights violation, we can find things out here. You're talking about violation of the law, we can find it. No one can stop the president from nominating anybody. The president can get up in the morning and say, look, Ronnie, you know what? I'm nominating you as the next minister of defense. That is our legal authority. The decision not to confirm it's a prerogative of those that are out there to make the decision. Exactly. You take the decision that you choose to. Look, in the very organizations that people work, you got individuals who've been accused in the media all over the place of bribery. What have they done? They got colleagues in their different clubs, in their different groups, in their different houses and places where they sit and talk, who are involved in bribery. What have they done? Have they been taking a resolute action?
The minister is maybe claiming that maybe Botinga was not reasonable in his approach.
That's your conclusion, please. That is your conclusion. I recognize Moluba. I agree with Moluba. Moluba being reasonable. I have the right to my opinion.
What I'm saying is that then it also brings us to the conclusion. The very minister who said there is not a lot of things, all of people closets around here. I think it's about time that I will also be declaring to my police. There are a lot of more things that people are saying. This is a debate budget. It can be held. Those things that are security matters are not supposed to be held public. We will talk about them.
You can talk about it. There's nothing to hide.
They want to use to the taxpayer money. You must be able to send that.
Absolutely. And then you too must be willing to let the GSC audit you, your office, the people you have hired. No, hold on a second. You don't just point finger at the people.
It's not because the president appoints you that you will be here. Right.
I'm not misbehaving. No, don't tell me. No, Mr. Honorable Speaker. Mr. Honorable, listen to me. Do not make a statement to ridicule. If you do, you hold yourself responsible for a response. If a public statement ridicule me, you hold yourself responsible for my response. If you disrespect me, I will therefore hold you responsible.
Those were yesteryears. The man who won landslide in Lofa County senatorial by-election, midterm election, and denied is in studio. So the songwriter says, if you live in glass house, don't throw stones. So I told him at 3 o'clock. He said, no, don't say 3 o'clock. Say 1,500 hours. Yes, that was the soldier speaking. Okay, so we'll bring this, go strictly into to talk to Ronnie. It is relayed on live radio, live FM in Zozo, and that of King Toma Bonjaman, Lofa County, respectively, as we begin this conversation right now with former Defense Minister Ronnie Jeffrey Samukai Jr. with 1 minute after 1500. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Chris. How are you? I haven't seen you for a while. First of all, let me say my condolences for the family member that you lost not too long ago. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, thank you so much. My mother told me that we stop over the town and spend some few time with her and even made some contribution. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. So where have you been all along? You've been quiet, man.
No, I've been here. I had traveled to Lofa, did the rounds of discussions and consultation with the people in Lofa County. And then I went to the States to see my family. My family is in the States, my wife and my kids. And then I also did my annual medical. I took that opportunity. So I'm back re-energized and ready to get on the train.
I'm asking the question deliberately. You don't look bothered.
Oh, no. I don't.
Is it a treat, a hereditary treat that something that could break an individual down doesn't break you down like what your supporters believe?
No, I think it's perseverance, which is a composite of all of the things that you believe in, you've been trained in, and you appreciate. Knowing full well your conscience is very, very, very clear. So there's nothing much to worry about. So I'm very happy to be back. I'm very happy to be able to see and talk about people in Lofa County who are listening to us this afternoon. So I feel very good and I feel very happy to be back.
Okay, so I've told you a farmer as well. You got a farm in the Casa Vonchama district area?
Well, indeed, the town of Casa, I had a great opportunity to have cooperated with them on an agriculture project of 100 acres of farmland that we harvested as well. Only after the death of the chief, condolences to them that we got slowed down a little bit. But we hope that we'll resuscitate those efforts in the immediate future.
Okay, then here I'm told you're doing piggery as well.
Yes, I do have a peak. We have a peak in Digzo. We had about 160 something grown pigs. A lot of them have been sold. I think we're down to about 65. So yes, then we have 3 persons employed on the farm. Trying to find a way that we should be able to sustain ourselves in some shape or form. So yes, I like farming.
Yeah, so I'm going to force you into this one. You're going to give me a set.
I tell you what we do. When you choose to come to visit the farm, that decision will be much easier.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so let's start in the sub-region. You were a member of the Defense Authorities of
right.
Member State. In fact, I had an opportunity to have been on a flight with you to Yamoussoukro.
That's correct.
With Madam President, where you had discussion with a FISMA head then in the conference hall, and all of you people put things together to keep West Africa quiet.
That's correct.
Of recent, West Africa is at the brink of war, coup and counter-coup all over the place. Then the authorities come out to say, if you don't revert to democratic leadership, we'll move on. Then 2 other countries, already been ruled by military junta, come up to say, well, if you attack Niger, it's a declaration of war. Niger will come in. Latest effect coming in that Mali has canceled all other colonial agreement with its colonial master France.
That's correct.
This is concerning as one who traveled the West region to bring peace to the region.
Well, thank you. Yes, indeed. The ECOWAS heads of state in a meeting following the coup in Niger issue an ultimatum which expired on Sunday, this going Sunday, for the military to allow the country to return to constitutional rule. Subject to that will be a military intervention on the part of ECOWAS as one of those options that they were considering. There are a few things to understand. Besides the perennial issue of corruption and bad administration and lack of security for those countries that have been faced by these international rebels against those countries, you need to understand that there is a legacy of colonialism that is impacting the knowledge of military persons and individuals that are in those Francophone countries. Immediately after independence, back in the late 50s and 60s, the French colonial powers made these African countries to sign 11 agreements and I'll share with you a couple of those agreements that I think are boiling the issue of those in the military. First is that those militaries, those countries must subject 65% of the annual income mandatory into French Reserve. Their own money they must put into the French Reserve. Secondly, any withdrawal of that money, that government must provide an audited report of their own money, submitted to France that is keeping their money, and then they must pay 20% of their own money back to France. And that's a little colonialism, and that's what Mali just discounted the other day. The third thing is, for example, that they must speak French. It is mandatory that those countries speak French as an official language. They also, under that agreement, they also mandate these people to have a military alliance directly with France and cancel any other military alliance with anybody. That agreement also states that wherever French is fighting, that those countries will be prepared to provide troops to assist France to fight. Even internally, it also states that the French have the right to first tender. The first tender, they have our PPCC. The first tender for professionals. So these things are legacy issues that are impacting these countries that are individual read about their nation history. You can understand why it's happening the way in which today. But does that mean that military solution is a problem? No, I don't think it is a problem. But now that we have a military situation in Niger, for example, I was not too certain as to whether the decision by the heads of state of ECOWAS was not too hasty. You know, comparing little Gambia to a bigger country, which is almost 5 times the size of Gambia, it's quite different. Gambia is about an hour drive away from Senegal. I'm on the ferry. Secondly, the colonial Senegal has an excellent knowledge of what is happening in Gambia. Gambia has a naval possibility. So it was easier to impose an embargo. It was easier for the French to be ready to, for the Senegalese and ECOWAS countries to move into the Gambia. And then thirdly, it was much easier because operationally it would have been easier to manage a military operation in the Gambia. Yeah. Militarily, it's an extreme difficulty to go into a country that is completely landlocked. There's no seaport anywhere. That is bordering one of the largest countries on the continent, Niger, that have been fighting with that kind of experience. So I'm not too certain as to whether that military option would have been the best way to proceed. I would hope that we don't want further military crisis in our region. Wars doesn't help. It seems to exacerbate the crisis for which we find ourselves involved. And I hope that, like the Americans say, diplomacy is the way to go.
Okay, so that was just to pass through, and let's come home. Okay, so we're done with that. So let's look back a little bit at the past, where the 12 years, unbroken years, as Minister of Defense, Republic of Liberia. You form part of peaceful transition from one elected government to another elected government, and then. Do you miss those positions?
No.
You don't miss them?
No. Actually, I don't miss those positions. At least I'm glad and I was privileged to have served my country as the Minister of Defense. It was a privilege and honor to be serving at the time under President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf in a broken society where insecurity was very, very uphill battle for us to fight. And I'm very glad we play our part in a little way that we can. Our legacy is there. I leave that for others to judge. No, I don't miss it at all. And I don't want to be another Minister of Defense.
Man, come
on. No. I was Armed Forces in February 11, 2017. That this would have been my last Armed Forces message to the soldiers. I owe it to them. They are growing as professionals. I respect them, and I think it is about time that they continue their path, and that's why I left. If you work somewhere and you cannot produce leaders to lead, then you really done nothing. So I leave that to the rest of everybody else.
Okay, so Carol is doing some media training, and I came across a young Liberian, in fact, two. Eventually, one became the chief of staff, and the other became the deputy chief of staff,
right?
All under your watch. Are you a problem? May so rest in peace, Eric Dennis, who became the deputy. Now, the chief of staff now is the Minister of National Defense. It should be a problem that you nurture these people to this high echelon of military command.
No, I think you should give it to them themselves. They worked for it. They earned it. They merit it. It was not a patronage. It was something that they worked for. They earned it. So I think they deserve what the person might have. And that's what leadership is all about. And I'm very glad that they are succeeding in their individual career. Very sorry that Eric passed. He was a very good colleague of mine from the same church as well. But I think we give it to them themselves. They perform and achieve the merits that they deserve.
Okay, so you won the election in
Right.
Lofa. You beat them
Over 6,000 votes.
Yes. What are you rushing for? You beat them face down, your opponents.
Right.
Of course, your kinsmen. They were all your kinsmen, women. Unfortunately, the seat was denied to you because on legal ground, based on the conviction, the lower court and supported by the Supreme Court.
Right.
That would have broken you down, your political future completely.
Right. No, I don't see it in that context because I think history, like Fidel Castro said, will absolve me one day. Someone will come out and
hope.
Yes. No,
that means the truth still not out.
Not even for a second. I have no element of doubt in my mind as to what we did and what we did not do. For which,
so if you say posterity will judge one day, meaning you still stand.
I still stand by the positions and the decision that I took. That there was nothing personal, there was no personal benefit to us, there was no injury to the institution, and we're authorized to do what we did. So
we might have had that truth and is still holding on to it to unleash it.
No, it is not
that you have to embarrass the people of Lofa. I mean, they elected you in the ring and then saw you take a seat.
This is the reason why the people of Lofa County firmly believe that the quality of leadership that we would have provided is the best kind of leadership that they wanted. And that is the reason why the people of Lofa kind of believe in our own choice, people who we choose and people who we recommend, because we do those things on the basis of merit and what people deserve. So I have no element of doubt. It doesn't matter what the court may have done. I can tell you this. If you remember the journalist of yours from the Philippines, Maria Ressa talks about how she has full trust and confidence in the judicial system of our country. But she got totally disappointed by the politicization of the decisions taken by the court. So I believe her. I believe Maria Ressa, and I think it is a replica of the system which is in my country.
Okay, let's hope one of these days, I pray to God to be alive until the truth can come up. And if it adds up to my year, I want to live 150 years old. And I pray God to be around.
But you know that the U.S. Supreme Court has over the years reversed multiple decisions that they have taken since the 1940s. Within the United States of America, so it doesn't mean that when the Supreme Court takes a decision today, it doesn't mean it cannot be reviewed and reversed years later on the basis of a case that comes before it. Those decisions that's what they call an opinion. That is the individual sitting at the time where he or her, she sits. Based upon what they want to do, what they decide, their faith, their conviction, the court may decide in the future what they need to do. And they will do the right thing. And I do believe at some point in time they will.
Yes, there's history there, and the records are there that people have been wrongly convicted
and killed,
sometimes served in the sentence.
Yeah, and they get exonerated later on when the facts come out.
Okay, let's go whether that's going to work out in your case. Yeah, so let's come. We are in election year 2023. At long last is here. We should have a president retained or a new president elected, retained through election, or a new president elected. Right. Oh, what do you make of? What's your stand on the process?
Well, you know, I'm very clear that I'm part of the rescue team.
Okay.
I support the rescue team very, very well, and I do expect that our team will galvanize the necessary support to win the elections come the first round. I'm of the conviction that it is possible. That it is possible within the first round, given what the Liberian people have gone through their own experience. I mean, this is my personal conviction. And I do believe that His Excellency Ambassador Joseph Nyimo Boakai and His Excellency Senator Kumu are the best of the cream right now within the party that can provide the kind of leadership this country deserves. It is the ability to put together a team that can meet those objectives of the needs of the people of the country. It is not just, it is not just a decision to be taken irrationally. It is a decision to be taken based upon the experience of everyone. Yes, I mean, maybe there are individuals within the opposition or within the ruling party that are great, But if you don't put together a team that is capable of delivering what the Liberian people need to get the Liberian people out of the misery and poverty they find themselves, it makes it much easier for that team to win. And I believe the strongest team that is being fielded right now is the team of His Excellency Joseph Nima and Senator Cohn.
Ambassador Boakar is the subject of public scrutiny on a daily basis about his 12 years stewardship as vice president, his age, his health, and the list goes on and on. That he does not have money to finance these campaigns. How are these things? Why don't you think these things are going to hamper your ascendancy or your winning the election as rescue team? As you call yourself?
I mean, wherever there are challenges, there are opportunities that one can seize upon. And I believe that the opportunities started to form in itself many years ago by some wrong decisions being taken, by the kind of examples being exemplified by others that are within the administration. And I think the Liberian people themselves are feeling exactly what the decision they took in 2017. So it is no evidence you need to find anywhere. The evidence to be found is personally in the living conditions of the people of the country, personally to be found in the kind of strategic ambience that is existing right now. Thirdly, with a limited focus. A limited focus means that there is a leader and those around that leader is not providing the best of advice, but rather simply following the euphoria of the personnel of that individual. It makes it extremely difficult for it to melt down to the rest of the society. If you look at the lady Vahom in Popular Home, for example, or you look at the old man sitting in Masambula Home, for example, there are challenges he faces. He doesn't feel the impact of the government. He doesn't feel the impact of what his development is all about. He doesn't feel the impact of what his sons and daughters and grandchildren are supposed to feel. That is what we're talking about. It's the ability to decide through a team, for the leadership, for that leadership to take a decision, and for the benefit to put down to the rest of society. If I wanted to go to River G today, you know how difficult it's going to be, how damaging it's going to be to my vehicle. If I wanted to go to Grand Creek today, you know how damaging it will be to my vehicle. Or if I wanted to go to Wonderland today, you know how difficult it's going to be. So when you talk about development, define for me what it is. Is it a superficial painting for me to see that is what the development? No, it is not. So I believe very strongly that when the leadership is unable to produce a team, there are people who are wrong leaders who say things wrong that will not stand the guts to tell that leader. That's what has happened. And because they didn't have the guts to tell the leadership the direction they should be taking, that is the reason why the rest of the population are disenfranchised are going away to find a better leader to give them a good example of the benefit of our country. And I think that those individuals around the present leader are very much the cause of the problem, because they are cheering and singing and only hearing themselves, as compared to listening to the market women, listening to people in the villages and towns, and listening to the needs and demands of the population. So, for example, Lofa County is resolved. No matter how you look at it, Lofa County is very clear
resolve
to provide the leadership of the country in the next election. Go to any town or village, from Town all the way to Baton. Yes, individually they might support a different candidate in the legislative challenges that are there. But when it comes to Lofa County being resolved with Joseph Nima, it's a clear done deal. It's a total clear done deal.
But they did it 2017.
Yes,
but they couldn't produce the price.
Even others choosing to go somewhere else, which I don't think is going to happen this time around. I think Nima County understands better. Nima County can be much better than what it is today. Nima County has the potential to produce the kind of leadership to produce for our country what is needed in our society. And I believe there's an opportunity.
12 years.
Recently, compared to what it was many years back. Ghana has turned into a very proactive policy.
Everyone going for weekend break and rest.
That's what you do when you have a team of people appointed to perform. But when you have individuals appointed, their vehicles are breaking down. You remember the last time, I think it was either the speaker or the president protest, on his way to sign it, on his way to Grand Crew, got angry because the vehicle couldn't pass through. And they have spent millions of dollars, quote unquote, into the southeastern region to get things done. You got poor team members around the leader. And when you have poor teams members around the leader, they can't feed anything good other than bad things.
So that brings me to you. That brings me up to let's go back into the statement Ambassador Boakar made as sitting vice president. You pointing out the role about to grant
And to Lofa as well.
and for 12 years. 12 years. 12 years, those rules were not
Those
touched.
rules were touched. It was possible to drive.
I mean,
Oh no, they were not paid. That's correct.
Paving. And then he went on to say some opportunities were squandered. And as a sitting vice president, that has still is still traced after him. Every time the people make reference to that as a vice president, if you squandered some opportunities, when are you coming to revive those opportunities that you squandered? So give chance to others who haven't had the opportunity. Do you believe that opportunities were squandered in the first place?
I cannot speak for His Excellency Ambassador Joseph Nimambwaka or the circumstances around which he made those statements. But what I can tell you in reality, even you and me and all of us have opportunities in life that sometimes we don't seize upon. Now, let me tell you what opportunity is. Opportunity is preparedness. You understand what I'm saying? Opportunity is preparedness with luck. You have to be prepared and be opportune at that time. You have to be prepared strategically. You have to be prepared with resources and identify where you want those resources to go. That is why we believe it's very easy. For someone who has had the 12 years of experience, there's someone who have seen it even after he left office to have seen it, for someone who has become a senator for not once, but also elected representative not once but twice, it is possible with that kind of mix and combination, they can put together a team of officials to take the country forward. We're talking about a team. One man can't lead a country. Now, if one man is leading and everybody else is cheering him or producing, contributing, you have the kind of challenges we face today. Everyone is cheering the leader, but everyone is not providing, assisting in providing the leadership decision. This is the key issue.
Okay, so we'll come to the national leadership itself. I just let me clear this one out. Let's go to Lofa.
Okay.
A little bit where there are a couple of your kinsmen contesting representative position. The presidential, you were clear about JNB. Yes. There are speculations that you rejected the man JNB presented or won the party's ticket for the senatorial seat, the incumbent Steve Amadou Zago. Instead, you won Kotima. Is that true?
You said rejected. I don't know what I rejected because.
Okay, so you've been quoted on social media.
You know,
but you don't support.
Yes, okay, that's a different word now. When you say when you say reject, there was nothing to reject because in the 2022 by-election, you remember after my position was taken away from me under that technicality, I supported Galapai Kotima. I did. I work with him. We have to build a team to go throughout the country. Galapai Kotima provided the best of options. Since I was not taken as an individual to lead the county as a senator. We went from every town and villages to go all around to prepare ourselves for his support. We went from Bayantown all the way to Vahu, all over the Foya, all the towns and districts in between. Yeah. At no point in time did I ever find any reason not to continue to support Galapai Kotima. As a matter of fact, comparatively, he's in a better position to provide the kind of leadership that Lofa County wanted. So let me lay the premise that my support Galapai was not based on today's choice of whatever political party. My support for Galapai dated back to several years ago, from the time I was a coach, where he exercised and demonstrated leadership, to the time that he was running as a senatorial candidate, in which I supported him throughout. So do they expect me to come now and abandon him for no reason? No.
But it's party mandate.
Party mandate?
Yes.
This is not communism. Where the communists speak and everybody follow, like ducklings. No, I'm not a duckling. You know, back up now, if you talk about what ducklings, everybody just go because the mother duck is in the front. No. The people ask the people of Lofa County, who do they want? Ask them. Ask them. And secondly, performance determines the choice the people like to make now or in the future. If the incumbent is able to demonstrate clearly to the people of Lofa County what the reason why he should be re-elected, the people of Lofa will consider that. But I believe that the people of Lofa County are very clear-cut in their mind that this is the kind of leadership they don't want that has been there for the past 9 years. And this is a new dimension they want to go with Galapai Kotima. So it is very clear that my decision is based on the choice of the people of Salaya district, based on the choice of the people of Zozo district, based on the choice of the people of Vanyama district, based on the choice of the people of Kolahun, the choice of the people of Vahu, and the choice of the people of Foya. How can I come on an institution and go against the choice of the people of Lufa County? The choice of the people of Lufa County is Galakba Wozi Kontama, that they believe he is the senator that will give us the best of leadership going into the 2018, go into the next election to become senator. So there's no doubt in my mind that I'm going against any party mandate. No, the party statement of support is there.
They highly respected. Yeah.
So what about the candidate that has been put against in Unity Party candidate in District 4? That candidate is coming from Senator Zango's office.
You mean in Lofa?
The lady who has been put up against Gizi Collins.
Gizi Collins, District 4.
Actually working in the office of Senator Zango. Why is that not an issue? Yes, Zango support that individual, that part of the church, but he also supports Nyuma Baka. Galakba Wozi Kontama supports Uncle Nyuma Baka to be the next president, and I support Galakba to be the next senator of Lufa County. And that is exactly where we are at this point. So there's nothing about the incumbent that I believe disenfranchises him. No. The incumbent has the right to go to the people of Lufa and present his case. He has the right to go to the people of Lufa in many different ways and present his case. I will respect the decision of the people of Lufa. But they're trying to denigrate me because of my decision. It's unfortunate.
This highly respected elderly man, Joe Bakai, this kind of decision, this is the question, this kind of decision, yes, you support Galakba Kotiman at the expense of the flag carrier of the Unity Party, the incumbent. This kind of so there is a parallel look or view on the situation in Lofa. You support Joe Barker, but don't support the party's choice for the senatorial seat. You support someone who is running against the party's interest.
As an independent.
But
you support Joseph Barker as president.
How is that going to work?
No, he's an independent. He chooses who he's going to vote for to be president. It's like me. I support Honorable Newman to be the representative. He's the best candidate right now. It's not a question of money. But he's the one who's able to manage from a cultural level the stability of Foya district. He's the one who's able to manage and relate to the individual. So therefore, I support Newman. He's excellent. He's an experienced individual. He's not wasteful of the kind of money that other people are wasting. But that's the choice I made. For an example, district number 2, I'm laying it to you.
Yeah, please.
So there's no question of rumor. For district number 2, I support Mohamed Kane, a very excellent man with a background.
The publisher of
the Heritage newspaper. Yes, the people of Tenga will support him, and the people of Mendegoma district will give him that full support. I believe he's the one who is capable of bringing the leadership. I disagree with whoever else is contending. As a matter of fact, the incumbent of district number 2 has not even gone. She can't even go back. Because she has made so many promises to the people of Vahu district number 2, and never fulfilled any that is reasonable, credible for you to see somebody has done that.
And for the sake of clarity to the audience, it's Judy Fatoma, right?
Yes. And also for district number 3, I support Clarence. I believe Clarence with 2 terms of experience, he's young, he's vibrant, he's a potential future leader of our country. Yes, I think he deserves that position. For district number 4, which is Vanyama district and Bodybody district combined, I support Gizi Collins. He's the one who contested the last time. In fact, his choice was a determinant of the people of Vanyama district. They said they will support Uncle Joseph Nyumabaka, but they want Uncle Joseph Nyumabaka to know that this is the candidate that he wants. They said, but he's not in the party.
Yes, he lost narrowly to Maramu Fufana.
Yeah, they said, yeah, but he's not in the Unity Party. We said, no, we prevail upon our son to come to the Unity Party. They prevail upon him. He's in Unity Party right now. He's going to win that election because that is the choice of the people of the district. And let's come to district number 5. District number 5 is very clear in their mind. Very, very clear in their mind. The failure of leadership in the past. You know, he's a good friend of mine. I mean, being Howard, Councilor Howard is a very good friend of mine. It's very unfortunate that he made the wrong decision in 2022. That is going to bother him going into the 2023 elections.
What did he do?
Well, he was on a good team and he chose to go to someone who gathered 2,000 votes. That's the wrong decision. And that 2,000 votes impacted negatively for Galakba Kotiman not to be the next senator. So therefore, the people of Salaya district and the people of Zozo district are going to penalize it and therefore support Chibolo. because Sakiolo to be the next representative of District Number 5. So it is very clear that some of our choices is not the choice that he's making himself. It is what the Lofa people experience. It's what the Lofa people are yearning for, a leadership that you can trust and believe. And then I have no element of doubt in my mind that the people of Lofa are clearly resolved. You go to Vanilla District, take clear Gizi College is the one we're going to support. You go to Kolaholo, take the Clan Massacre, the one we're going to support. You go to Violent District. They just had a meeting just over the week, massively attended, clearly resolved that Mohammed Kane is their choice that they're going to carry. They have chosen Thomas Bryan Jr. Unfortunately, they're having there's a major program on the 24th of August, in which will be like the burial day to be buried him in the States. They're able to have a major program in Violent District. He is honored to kind of respect him as he's going to be laid to rest. So it is very clear. You go to Foya District, the argument is very clear now. Not everybody going to see through the floor. That exactly this whole thing is just symbolism. That's the reason why they believe that Sakila Nyumali is the candidate of choice that they're going to go with in spite of the challenges that are being faced.
27 minutes up to 4 o'clock. Brownie Jeffrey Samuka is our studio guest on the first segment, State of the Nation. It has been relayed on Radio Live in Zozo, Lofa County, and that in Toma of Wanjama, Lofa County. We made contact with the respective station managers, and they said yes, indeed. So, lastly in Lofa, there's scramble for Lofa. You remember the European scramble for the Lake Conference to petition Africa. Similar thing, similar thing is taking place in Foya. The ruling party, Coalition for Democratic Change, is leaving no stone unturned to ensure that they have a CDC lawmaker. By extension, yes, Jala could be, but he chose not to go on the party ticket when independent, but the party supported. But Thomas Fallon is there fishing from one area to the other. Because I'm asking the question because you said Lofa is resolved.
On the issue of His Excellency Ambassador Jose Boakai and that of Senator Jeremiah Cohn, the people of Lofa are resolved. Those are the candidates who are going to carry for the presidency and vice presidency. There's no issue or debate about that. On the issue of the legislative seat, yes, there are choices, various individuals, because it is based upon you as a person, not necessarily the party. You see, you as the person within the district, your performance in the district, your performance in the county. If after 9 years you don't have friends of Samuka, after 9 years, if after 9 years you don't have friends of Nyumali in your district, if after 9 years you don't have an established institution in those districts, both the electoral and administrative districts of the county, then it brings you your ability to lead and to organize and to gather the kind of support that you need. That is the reason why we say the people of Lofa are resolved. They're very clear cut in their mind who they're going to choose as their presidential candidate, and they're going to choose Joseph Wakai. Period. There's no question. You want to go and try, go and find a value. In fact, you hear some young individuals say, look, I support this person as a candidate for this position, but I support Joseph Wakai for the presidency. I mean, it's a repeated statement in Vonjama, in Kuala district. You will tell you that the uncle, we are putting the uncle to be the next president of the country.
Let's hope that resonates across the country. Other than that, Lofak alone cannot make Mr. Barker president.
Okay, so this is where I'm going to put out some numbers, and then I leave people to debate whether the numbers is what they want to go by. Assuming that the 2.4 million of the voting population is what is possible, and assuming that we follow the same history of what happened in the past couple of elections, in which about 75% of the population participate in the election, so you'll be talking about 1.8 something million persons that would definitely be going to the poll. These are all based on assumptions, and if you were to take that 1.8 million and determine what is the best strategy for you, I would expose the strategy to all of them. Those who are around the table and listening, they're going to take that strategy. Take the 5 big counties except Montserrat. So we go to Lofa, you go to Bong, you go to Nimba, you go to Grand Basin, you come to Magui. Leave Montserrat alone. Any political party, any senatorial, any candidate vying for the presidency must win. If you want to win the first round, which is going to happen, it has to win about 46% of those top 5 counties. And then Monserrato will give you the last push in order to become the first-time president. First-time right. So if the CDC were to gather 46% in the 5 counties, plus Monserrato County, they win the election in the first round. But we believe the momentum is on the side of Joseph Jacobs, beginning with Lofa County. It will move on to Bong County, where Senator Prince Moody has galvanized the people of Bong to be ready for the ensuing election that is coming. And if we were to take that assumption there to look at where the vice president candidate, Honorable Jeremiah is coming from, you have a momentum clearly. Then you have the queen of the train, Madam Senator Yoni Kanga, who was leading in Grand Master County. And assuming how that county goes, obviously, with McGivey standing up, chances are very high in the name and interest of Joseph Nyamamba candidate. So the magic number, approximate magic number to win the first round is about 920,000.
In the first round.
Yes. Which means about 46% come out of the top 5 of the electorates in the county, and the balance will come from Monserrato County, which means you probably need only about 30% of the vote in Monserrato if you were to be the first 5. I mean, that is a mathematical model that you can take it, and we can talk about the quantum analysis to be able to we got to that conclusion.
Okay, so is 21 minutes to of 4 o'clock. Sign off on this first segment. As I said, former Defense Minister Brownie Samakade is our studio guest. So let's now come to the national leadership.
Let me ask one question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Honorable, I know you in Lofa most often.
And I'll be going to Lofa shortly.
Okay, so overall, I really want to know the living condition of the people of Lofa presently, and let's compare it to the past years, now and the past years. Is there any improvement, especially with regards to the education, the health, and security for now?
Okay, look, let's put it this way. ZRTTR was financed by the U.S. government in millions of dollars to prepare the facility and train teachers in whatever. Is it functional right now? It was functional at the time President said it was there. Is it functional now? The roads to Lofa were challenging, but usually just 1 or 2 spots. But now it's perennial, just about anywhere and everywhere.
I don't know how the defense, the
in fact, Senator Zargo was one of those who pushed for the AFL to participate in the rehabilitation of the roads. He said a segment of the I think almost a $500,000 project that the AFL road undertook at that time. So you can see that things were being done. Now things have been done, but those things are done not in the contractual way. Things have been done where given haphazard and things go either end, thing doesn't work. The living condition of the people need to always improve to demonstrate the quality of leadership that is needed. Coming from war, I think it was challenging, but it got improved and much better. Lofa was thriving in terms of businesses. Prices are not as high. Going to Lofa was just a couple $100. Now going to Lofa is 7,000, depending on where you're going, to about $8,000. That's a lot. That's a lot. It goes to show challenges that are coming along the way. So I think that, like I said, it takes a team to get things done. I am not telling you that there's no initiative by the present leadership to do something, but he needs a team. Unfortunately, the teams and individuals who just chair it. It is not fair to him. But there's no time for fairness in politics. We support Joseph Nyamamba because we believe that he will be the decision maker of the kind of team that he sets up. It's about the team supporting the leadership. It's not about the leadership supporting the team. It's not about the team just cheering the leader wherever he goes. Even when he tries to get too long, they say the new star. No. We're talking about a team in which individuals will support someone who will bring the kind of credible leadership that we need, the people that we can trust. Remember during the elections in Lofa in 2020, we said, and it's still relevant today, Lofa deserves leadership, and leadership is what we will deliver. Liberia deserves leadership, and leadership is what we deliver. And that leadership is going to be a team of individuals led by Rescue 1 and Rescue 2, Queen Mother, to make sure that Lofa succeeds. And I think the best person prepared with a team right now, even though we don't have the money, but the best person prepared right now to lead our country, I believe in a soon election, is Joseph Nyamamba and Jeremiah Cohn. That's my honest belief.
not mentioning. I don't know whether you see it not threatening the Cummings factor.
Oh, Cummings?
The CPS
No, I
factor.
always believe that Cummings is one of the excellent sons of Liberia, someone who has excelled at the international level, at the international corporate level, somebody who I believe will make a very excellent colleague to work along with in our country. I have no element of doubt in my mind that he's one of the respected individuals, both integrity-wise and in terms of his international corporate experience. I do. But as election, I have to have a choice. That's the reason why I have a choice with Uncle Joseph Nimobwaka and Jeremiah Kuhn to provide the kind of leadership that we want. I mean, that's what I think. Remember now, it takes a team being led, a team supporting the leadership to make things happen. On the field, there's a captain, but there's a team supporting the captain. On the field, there's a team and there's a captain to lead. In this particular interest, Lofa County is prepared to provide our leadership along with Nima County. That is where we're heading.
Okay, so quickly in the next 5 minutes, let's look at this government's performance. Do they deserve? I'm sure this is the answer is obvious, but I need to ask: do they deserve a second term?
Look, like I said to you, an individual choice is an individual choice, but the experience of the people who you're leading are the one who makes it easier to determine your choice. There are a few key things that we need to consider here. First, what will be the trigger of conflict? What are those things that could trigger conflict post-election? One of those things that will trigger conflict post-election is to grab all the ballot boxes in the different districts and towns and villages and counties and bring them to Monrovia. It's going to trigger a security alert because it becomes based on aggregate from Monrovia. If we can make a decision of who voted in District A and District 2 and District 3 and District 4 in all of the counties and determine who won in those districts, it makes it easier to make a determination who won within the country. Say, for example, in Foya District, at the end of the election, all of the ballot boxes are counted and the magistrates certified that result based upon what has happened in those districts and say this is your role. But at the same time, there's a presidential calculation right there. So they should make that known so it go on concurrently. So in that way, it makes it easier so that Monrovia, when the ballot boxes come to Monrovia, is willing to certify what the magistrate has already certified and signed. So I believe that one of the ways to proceed is not to get into things that trigger conflict. So this trip, I am urging, based upon experience, urging the election commission, based upon what I'm hearing, based upon what I'm saying, that to clear any element of doubt and to support the issue of transparency within the electoral process coming in 2023, that as district results are released, the presidential results should be released at the same time. Because why? It is within the same district where you're going to have the elected senator, the same district where you're going to have the elected representative, the same district where you're going to have the numbers for the candidate to be chosen. So it makes no sense for you to announce two and then bring one all the way to one over. It makes no sense.
Has that ever happened?
No, I'm just posting.
That's the 1985 situation, but 2017 was recent.
What did I say? I said the issue that trigger conflict. I'm trying to flag it now so that we all can avoid triggering a conflict. So I suspect very strongly that anyone trying to otherwise will not want to do. Smarter thing to do allow for the decision of the district, the county level, and announce in the district and announce from the county so that it will reflect the final decision of the electorate. So in terms of the second-term question that you asked, I think people's record will should say it for itself. For me, my choice, I believe, is just and luckily for me, my choice is based upon what I have observed over the years that I don't think it's possible. So in that case, Lofa County resolved, Nima County, my mother is from Nima. So Nima County is also resolved based upon my experience to make sure that Senator Kuhn will be the next vice president. We put it one step to the presidency of Nima County. Because once he becomes vice president and president, he's one step to the presidency and therefore Nima County has the advantage. I am sure that since 1964, I am very sure, send the birth of Nima as a county in 1964, the birth of Lofa as a county in 1964, the birth of Lofa Bell as a county in 1964, the birth of Grangiri as a county in 1964. This will be the unique opportunity for sons and daughters of Lofa to be able to ascend to the position of power come 2023 elections in October.
Okay, so yes,
quickly. So Mali canceled 11 colonial agreements.
Yeah, like I said from the beginning.
That was signed in 1960. So should we expect more of these in Africa?
No, I think the issue is the colonial legacy that has impacted those countries. It's very tough. Can you imagine everything in their country is based on first preference to France? That is where the issue is. Not just the issue of corruption or the issue of poverty or the issue of insecurity. It is the issue of colonial legacy. Can you imagine every money, 65% of revenue collected in those countries, in the reserves of those countries, remain under French control? And guess what? For you to get your own money, there are two conditions you must meet. One, 20% goes to France, who is keeping your money. And number two, you must weigh an audit of the money you spend to build toilets in your towns, to build schools in your villages, the money you spend for the infrastructure development. You must make a report, submit it to the person who keeping your money. The person must agree, and then you go back to it. Secondly, can you imagine every contractual arrangement? France has the first preference based upon the colonial agreement. It is that kind of legacy that keeps it in colonialism. I get the people in the military a little bit angry. But does it justify military coup? No, it doesn't.
Okay. So we open the lines now for public participation on 077-514-4278.
Can I suggest that, I'm sure there'll be many questions coming. Let me address them briefly as they ask a question. Once it comes to yes or no or whatever. Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah. So, but the protocol is you take note. She's about to give you pen and paper. You take note, and then we will. Okay, this is State of the Nation on Truth FM 96.1, the radio service of the Renaissance Communications Incorporated. Ronnie Jeffrey Samuel Jr., former defense minister, man who won the senatorial seat in Lofa but denied on legal issue. This caller is on. Good afternoon to you.
It's not
okay. Thank you very much for bringing our onward this afternoon to inform some of us of what we have been talking about. However, I will definitely salute you this afternoon to extend my gratitude for Lofa Kati and Nigeria as well. So, however, you spoke about something that which for me I was listening with me to it. The issue about that. So, yes, the random parents saying they have getting Lofa Kati on the world map and it's well in Lofa. That which is a plain lie.
Okay.
That wish, look at that right here.
All right. Thank you very much. Let me take the next caller. Hello. Quickly, 1 minute per caller. Let's hear you.
Good afternoon.
Please go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Hello.
Manage the call.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, Chief.
Yeah. Thank you, Honorable Minister, former Minister.
Thank you.
So, Chris, the 2J, don't read the 2J. That need Jeremiah, the uplift, and the need Joseph. This is Joseph who was sold to Egypt.
Okay.
You know what he did? He reconciled with everybody. All of the people he saw in the woman. The only word the woman said is with scholars or opportunity.
All right. Okay. Hello.
Good afternoon, Magdalene and Chris. I want to thank the former Minister of Defense for his output. He is right. When you see talking about giving out contract, the PCC is now being followed. Before them when you are getting contract for a major road construction or other construction, you must bring your past performance. How many countries you are working in, those construction you are taking that you have done for the past time. But for this time now, it is not like that. Just get major construction with a company that is not known.
Okay.
Breaking about it. This is wrong. We are heading to the wrong path and we must change.
Okay, Chief, let me call you right there. Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's good to have you on.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to Chris. Good afternoon to Armo, former minister.
Thank you.
This from Catholic from Rhodia. Yes. So he and let me thank you so much for his equity and disposition on both of the matters. You know, what people, politicians who always frequent in their own country, even how with the government, you are there to keep peace in our country. It's difficult for politicians to be out of the country. And I always see him frequent in our country. Let me thank you for that. The next thing is, I want to agree with him with the issue. I was listening to a radio where the road is hosted in France.
Wow.
Yeah, can you imagine? The president just issues like this. The one to come to Cameroon is saying it will be removed. So at least you know we have to look at it. But let me thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You have put the cold water in my heart today. I will tell you that when people again know. When they say that, they say, oh, look at me, everything good. I went to visit my old people who had to pass through Masanda. How would you not starting to get to your own country when you leave from Soto to get Papa there to get to Masanda before Fonyama? They're only when they say that here, I like Joseph Papa there for 25 years to the year. He had to go to the
Okay.
So now all the way to Manikoma, everything is so you can put your arm, you I think Honorable, thank you very much to tell you that everyone is unfolding. And by the first of all, as you do the analysis, the analysis will be there. I only tell you that they were looking for him.
Okay, all right.
Okay, Chief.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah,
I will take the last one from here. Yes, we got it. Hello? Yes, 1 minute.
Thank you. Chris, this is Morris Moses Mogai, and I'm calling from Jacobson, National Chairman for the Broadcast School Team.
Morris Mogai, a very long-time friend. I remember those days, True FM, Virginia and Ashmont Street. Long time no see. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, we are around, and we're gearing up. The elections are around, and we are poised in making Ambassador Jose anymore Broadcast the next president of the Republic.
But you used to be a sedition.
No, not at all.
All right, Boris, let's hear you.
The former minister, he has stood the test of time. He has been there in the trenches. He has stood for the party. He has stood for Ambassador Parker. I don't want to encourage him. The one thing I don't want them to do, I don't want them to lose that. If someone doesn't win, let that win. That's the other way around. We are appealing to them. Let the play cards well in making sure that the Unity Party becomes the vector in the country. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, my friend.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yeah, hello, Mr. Chobia.
Yeah, good.
Thank you, sir.
This is last time she rolling through.
You don't want to say this, man.
Congratulations for your permit.
Thank you so much. Ministers for the liberation and the this is a big investor. He is a friend, so security management. I want him to focus a little bit on the security of
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Roland.
Thank you. Let me clear this one from here. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, good evening.
Quickly, let's hear you. Quickly. Less than a minute.
Yeah, my name is Jonathan Joe, and I'm calling from District 6. And I just want to thank the honorable in the studio. This is the matter of Liberia, and all of us we know the situations, but we all need to come put all of our resources, our time together, so that we can support the honorable Joseph Boakai and go to the presidency. But there is not an issue of only local country. I think the tree should be, everybody should be one goal of the tree to every country. If you are from Lofa, if you are from Grand Bassel, if you are from Nima, when the tree is leading to Grand Bassel, everybody should be over. That should be one of the strategies that we should use. But if we want to use it because use it country-wide,
okay,
then I'm afraid. So let us all put all of our time together. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Martin, take the last
Yeah,
call. So
okay, let me get. Yeah. Roger's Matadi.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's me, Roger Matali, for the Holy Pulpit this afternoon. Let me thank the former minister, for the salient statement he made this afternoon, because we heard that he was giving his support to put him in. Some of us were just jittering because, we have, an agreement with the county president of State Zago, and we're feeding all the way around. But I think it said it basically that everyone we are going to it because the primary objective for us is the election of former Vice President Boakai.
Oh, hold on, Golden Puppet. You came here the last time and you told me you were marketing another person for the presidency. Have you reneged on that one now?
Oh, so this one is.
You are distributing press releases on behalf of the president. Oh, you back off now. You back off now. All right.
So you willing not to go into agreement with the rescue team?
A key part of the discussion that really triggered me to call is to see somebody making fair analysis of those countries, which I think we are closer to that point.
Okay.
The various districts that is supporting over the current matter point, the we are who are calling to here. So I just know they need to be put out to be the new breed of people that will make our country to look great again. And as a person, and you have a very good relationship with I'm waiting to see you so that you will get one of the messages out this morning. Thank you very much for
Okay. We can take calls no more.
Yes,
Time has
sir.
come with us. In the next 3 minutes, we should be signing off this segment. Minister, you heard the people. All the calls were complimentary. Nobody asked them except for what asked for what contract?
Yeah,
PVCC?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's hear you, Chief.
Well, thank you very much. Let me thank all of the callers and even those who were attempting to call and were able to get in, and all of our listening audience. To my people of Lufa County, we are very clearly a culture environment county. Our uncle, Joseph Boakai, our nephew, Jeremiah Cohn, they're running Rescue 1, Rescue 2. Lufa County is resolved to give them the opportunity to lead our country. On the district levels, as we said, within Lufa County, we support Sakila Nyumale in order to be re-elected. For Zozo District, for Vahon District, we support Mohammed Kane. For District number 3, we support Clarence Massaquoi. District number 4, Gizi Collins, and District number 5, Augustine Chewell. We believe that a leadership that produces a team of individuals who can work collectively with others, it is possible to take Liberia at the next level. We think that those opportunities that they talk about that is not clearly seen by others, it makes it very easy for the rest of the country to take their own decisions. I mean, the Southeastern region, for example, just like Lufa County, why can't we reach the Grand Crew in a smooth ride? Why can't we reach to Sino or to River G in a smooth ride? Why must the people of River Says continue to suffer where predominant logging is taking place? All of these big logging companies are. It is not one person. It is the team around the incumbent that I believe failed him. They did not provide him with the requisite strategic advice, strategic perspective for him to see.
But he should have the autonomy to determine who was performing or not. You were made to sign a performance bond, right?
Yeah,
you were minister. You were made to sign a performance bond.
I understand that, but what I'm saying, when you're on the football field, you're the captain. The referee calls you. But in order to win, you need a team to get you to win. You're on the field as a team player, but you need a captain to lead. So that is exactly, it is complementary on both sides. But that is the major flaw. That is the major flaw in the present administration that I believe should have been corrected 5 years ago. That not everyone on the team needed to remain there. That they needed to have reinforced the team so that, because look, I have seen an individual, I spoke with him, he's very sound. If you give him a sound idea, he's going to act. But the team has failed him. And the Liberian people cannot wait for another failure. And that is the reason why the Liberian people will be resolved to have Jose Nyimobwaka and Jeremiah Kun elected as president and vice president of the republic. I think it is a great opportunity for the people of our country to make a clear delineation of moving forward or remaining hopeful. I think moving forward is the way to go. Like somebody said, the only way forward is forward. And like Lufa County said, leadership is what we need and leadership is what we deliver. And I believe strongly that this is an opportunity for Lufa County Senator, the Honorable Galakpai Kotimai is the choice, is the candidate of choice. Ask the people in Lufa who is the candidate of choice. It doesn't matter what party Garaba go on, whether you go independent, or whether you go in party Q or party Y, they will go ahead and vote for him as that lion that is on the ballot box.
Okay, so I wanted to play something for your listening. Yeah, that is a Gambian opposition leader is justifying coup d'etat in West Africa and is giving out solution to ECOWAS member states to check themselves and see and take his advice. Let's listen to this one.
What are the good policies with us? Let them put their house in order first before they set up an anti-democracy. Let them put their house in order. And I believe their house is not in order. This will be set up to protect them and to protect their country property. That is more critical than your national constitution gives you 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes. After 30 years, you want to change the constitution to another part.
Does it make any sense to African leaders, West African leaders?
Well, you know, one have to see within the context. First, I do not support military coup. I don't think it is a solution to the problem within our continent, and I think that that is something we should discourage. I was part of the decision with General Suraj Abdul Rahman when the heads of state of government of the states of ECOWAS took the decision not to support any military coup. But within the context of Africa, look where military coup have taken place. Even the global world kept quiet. Egypt, they overthrew a democratic elected government. Algeria, they overthrew a democratic elected government at the time. So I am saying to you that the legacy of colonialism that we did not experience is what is impacting the Francophone countries today. It's what is impacting the Francophone country. And I think that that is not the route. But I don't think a military solution is feasible within the Niger context. In the case of Liberia, I don't know what is our foreign policy position, but if you were to ask me as a person, I don't think Liberia should jump quickly on a train going to war. I don't think we should jump quickly going on a train to war. Because
I mean, we should contribute.
Is fighting Niger. Is it achievable?
But we deploy in Mali.
We deploy to protect the regime, the state, against a terrorist. This one is not a state. I mean, this one is not a terrorist organization. It is a state. You're going to fight. It's a declaration of war. Now, Mali have said it will join them. Burkina Faso has said it will join them. And Guinea is also not far from that. So I don't think that is the solution that ECOWAS should pursue. We should pursue pressure mechanism and to make sure that those conditions that feed into decisions for military coup should not be.
Thank you so much, Mr. Brandon Jeffrey Samuka Jr. Tukba Tano tells me, let me read his text message. So that means your people were covered. Say connected on Radio King Toma in Vonjama and Radio Live in Zozo. And Beate tells me he's following from Lofa County. Thanks to our leader for providing those insightful information. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation, Chief.
Thank you so much, and I look forward to heading to Lofa next week.
Yes, when you go, please stop
all the time. All the time. You don't have my time. I have to stop. I have to stop to see my Chief Botolo. I have to stop. Thank you very much, and I appreciate the opportunity.
We take this break to be right back. Would that be?
Oh, he's in the Bible.
This music reminds him of the late Zeno Miller. Patrick Smith, good afternoon to you. 1:30, National Police. Up next. Up next, an encounter with former Police 102, A.B. Kroma Ahaji. We're going to be talking security in electioneering period. What is the role of security officers? This is Peter Touch. What a lesson. If you live in a glass house, don't throw stone. Lucky Doobie, teach a word. So up next, with 14 minutes after 4 o'clock, let me bring A.B. Kroma Ahaji, Abraham Kroma Ahaji. Good afternoon to you.
Pleasing pleasure to be in the ears and the eyes of your listening public.
Thank you so much, man. I watched you when you took off from Mecca to complete that of Islam, one of the 5 pillars of Islam, to go to Mecca for the pilgrimage. I want to congratulate you. Now you got a title. It is an Islamic title, Ahaji, A.B. Kroma.
It is always a wonderful thing to visit the Holy Land. This is something that all Muslim in your lifetime you have to fulfill. Now I am a 5-pillar Muslim as compared to being 4. When you go to Mecca, you've completed the pillars, as you said. And yes,
So you're 5
now. I've completed the requirement of being. I mean, I've not gone to the extent of being a mu'mini to the point where you reach certain level, but I have gone now. But the being, I've now fulfilled the 5 pillars.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and
Inshallah.
multiply.
Inshallah.
Anything that you put your hand in, may it be multiplied and beneficial to you and your family and the country at large.
Inshallah. Inshallah. And,
thank you so much. This is Magdalene. And you just look on the screen, you're going to see this beautiful face. Yes, she's the co-producer. In fact, she's lines up the guests. She receive you and then usher you in. She's the co-producer of this platform. We just want to thanks for coming. So let's get. Where have you been? Hello profile. Where have you been?
I've been in Liberia actually. I went out for a little bit, but I've always hang out. And this is the country that all of us love so much, and I try to hang out. I've been in the Maryland area. I've been in Nimba, my home county of Nimba, and business took me to.
You mean Maryland here?
Maryland here, not Maryland the States.
Okay.
Maryland here. Business took me to Plebo, Maryland, Harper, took me to Greenville, and took me to Nimbad, Wikipa. And I just been basically trying to establish a company that I have a lot of respect for.
Okay. Is it what? A construction company?
No. Security.
Firm?
That's what I know. Security. That's what I've been doing.
I'm told you own Pilot.
Yes, right. Yes, sir.
One of the best dressed private security firms.
Yes,
You do residential too?
Yes, sir. We do residential. We do petroleum security. We do corporate. We do VIP as well. We do portfolio extend to commercial as well.
Okay, so yes, Pilot. Those of you who do the guys are in the, how do you call that green? That military, how do you call it? Like the green, the usually wear.
The military.
Yes.
We try to stay far from the AFL style of green because it has the way. But even with that, we try to add Pilot in the back of it, so we have a little bit of distinct feature, so as to be presentable in our own form, because you have to present those things to the Ministry of Justice to get that credit.
Okay, thank you so much, and it's good to have you. At least justify why you've been silent.
Yes.
But your past will always be your past. We don't know what is in the future in the of you. So that's why I want us to go. We want us to go into the days at the LNP. Man, you form part of those who peacefully transition, turn over power. The entire police operation by your police manual was under your shoulder, during the 2017 presidential and legislative election. So today we're going to be talking about who in the first place is a security.
Well, somebody who have selflessly placed himself at the disposal of the country to the extent where you articulate cogently the aspiration of your employer. In our own case, the government was our employer and the people of Liberia were the employer. So we put ourselves at their disposal to protect and serve that arrangement. And then at our level, I felt that we secured the country. It's just not securing that you have to serve, and that's what we did.
Okay, so at the Liberia National Police, you were 102 by your radio code, meaning you headed the operation of the Liberia National Police.
That's correct.
Tell me two moments of achievements and two moments of what do you think could be a failure or give reason to those failures.
Well, the moment of achievement. Well, there's a lot of them. Basically, when we took over at the LMP, Madam Sally's second term just started, and we came from the criminal justice institution in the States. We were asked to serve as Deputy Inspector General of Police, basically responsible for the operation wing of the LMP. And so I've been a career police officer since I was 18 years old. A sworn officer. Yes.
Really? Okay.
And so I rose through the rank. I a patrolman, graduate of university, became a captain, and then became base commander of intelligence, and was appointed during the first internal government as director of CID, assistant director of police for CID affairs, and then rose to the rank to become deputy inspector general of police for under the Madam Sally regime. We successfully organized several operational arrangements, but one of those had to do with fighting armed robbery, lawlessness, disorderliness to a larger extent, because we had these folks walking around with cutlasses, bare-barrel cutlasses, trying to harm the Liberians. So we successfully brought that to a halt, and then we turned our attention towards the motorcyclists. Armed robbery were at the serious height, and so we thought we did a lot of feasibility studies. So we talked to couple of NGOs to actually help to see what we can do in our own arrangement. We had a very good relationship with the director of police then, Chris Masquer. Matter of fact, I served on a couple of director, almost about 5 director of police. There was Chris Masquer. There was Brandon Samukar. That was deputy director.
I'm not interrupting you. I expected you guys to shake hands, but you were there giving courtesy, man. He stood attention and
That's what we do, bro. That's what we do. yeah. This is lifetime. Once a boss, always a boss. There's no way. And he's one of the guys that did a lot for me, taught me a lot. Young kid on the street, and bulk of what he did for me when I became chief of staff of the AFL. I had no clue that I wasn't a military guy. And he's a military guy.
That was power sharing, right?
Yes, and I told him, I said, Chief, I've been told to be chief of staff. What am I going to do? He said, well, this is an interim government. The government will have to be structured, and the chief of staff position at this stage is not for you to go to an order army back and forth, not for a while, but you have to serve this position in fulfillment of the restructuring process. The disarmament has gone to play, the government has been structured, they need you to play this role. And I conducted the first chief of staff conference at the Hotel Africa place there. And Brandon Samukar, Minister Samukar was very instrumental in getting me straightened up. And then giving me all of the military arrangement and basically build me up for it. And from that point, prior to that, I was the assistant director of police deputy director actually for CID, CIU, Interpol Affairs. And he was also very instrumental in allowing me to have a will to flex my muscle, for lack of a better word, and to provide me an opportunity to do what I love best. And he, under his tutelage, we established a very mundane approach towards crime, because at the time we had just come from war to a larger extent. Deterrence was not at its best. The guys who were generals in the Veteran Army still had the remnants of their forces. They were flexing their muscles. So we had to put up a posture that will establish our presence. And under his direction, we basically established that. And we make sure, we actually, under his direction, we impounded the ADC alarm. But then there were no DEA, we were the TEA at the time. We impounded the DEA, the ADC alarm when we saw drugs on the alarm. And we had to go to look for the route, the route of that drugs in Lagos. And we found that it was in the custom office at the bureau there were being packaged for goods that was coming to Liberia, going to Gambia. So we interrupted that trade, and that was on his watch as well. So we did a lot, and from that point, then I went back to the States. Got a graduate degree, but one in education, one in HR, and one in criminal justice. But basically, the criminal justice aspect has been something that I've flourished in, because this is all I know to become a cop. So being a police officer.
Did he become a cop in the U.S.?
But I work in prison.
Okay.
But then doing my job training, I hang out with almost all of the people at NYPD and the
that's the New York Police Department.
So and then with the East Orange Police Department, I basically was doing a lot with community-oriented policing. At the time, I was when I was out of grad school, the community-oriented policing was coming of age. The guys were no longer focusing on traditional policing, the regular arrest and prosecute, but try to allow the community to participate in policing themselves. At the time, East Orange Police Department was 99% Black, and the community was almost 100% Black. But yesterday, there was friction between the community and the police. So to turn that around, it was part and parcel. They started to have after school program. Started to have league, police community league, and other stuff. Gradually, the police started to have the feedback, and the community started to embrace the action of the police. And so there were no more police action created to tailor the police operation pattern. It was not tailored with the community. And that's what, when we came back to Liberia, you asked for more positive, the positive aspect. That's what I brought with me. When I came back, we decided to turn the Saba, the guys that used to use the classes and all of this stuff. We started to engage the community, reach out to them, provided an avenue where they can participate in policing themselves and have a community oriented policing and have the community watch team. We developed that to a certain level and we had the chief of patrol to liaise with the guys in the community, segmented the community to a larger extent where people start to participate into this arrangement. And that was a very big plus for us, and that helped to reduce the crime rate. And gradually, we start to become very proactive in going after the bad guys because we're getting very focused in victimizing folks. So we basically set it up a little bit, and then we started to engage the motorcyclists. After our assessment, we basically realized that 95% of the motorcyclists were non-Liberian who basically were using this process as a means for sustaining. They paying their school fees, they paying their rent, they doing a lot of stuff. So basically, they build themselves accepting things from a different perspective.
Okay, so we just decided to give you the time to go ahead with some, but logistically things were fine at the LNP, right?
Not exactly, actually. Logistically, yeah, we're good. Because what we did under Brandon Samukai at the time, we had to. That was doing the interim arrangement.
No, I'm talking about recent.
Well, we had to think outside the box so many times. You have to look at what you have and create the avenue to suit what you have to do. It was not all rosy. We had some shortfalls. We engaged the Ministry of Finance so many times. We also engaged the House of Representatives to a large extent where we went to, besides looking at the enforcement from the aggregated level, we decided to use the district level, ask the guys to provide us some information on how to police that very district. And then they all was rushing, coming back, but then the flight went to about $41 million. They couldn't take it. But we decided to reduce it, and they still cut off. But we fought to the point where we provided the information was provided for us, and we used communities, goodwill from community members, decided to provide fuel oil, gasoline, and Madam Sally was very, very instrumental. She wanted security. She wanted the police to actually function, and so we got logistical support to a larger extent.
Okay, so let's come to these motorcyclists. People think you reach a moment or a period of be famous. You became famous.
Infamous.
Yes, I'm coming. Famous and infamous. I actually wanted to replace infamous with notoriety.
Notoriety, all right.
Yeah, so that was the word I was. So, I'm asking this question because by the time the policy put into place to keep the motorcyclists from a particular zone and to have a curfew for them worked so well, everybody has testified. But when the current government took over, one of the things it overturned was that policy that you were implementing. Yes. Did the policy help the police to curtail crime?
The most sad part of it, and I don't know whether it was done intentionally, but I don't think so, because Patrick Sulu were part of that particular process. He was there, Director Sulu, right now the chief of police. He was my chief of He was senior inspector under my college. And he was there when we were enforcing the motorcycle ban. It was not A.B. Krumah orchestration. It was a government policy, which basically was tested, and it has its own bound. All of the government ministry and agency were part and parcel of the Ministry of Public Works. Everybody who were participating in that cabinet meeting that brought forth this particular talk were part to sign up on it. And then we tested it. It worked. You look at the data that were collected after the situation, before and after, crime rate dropped. The victimization rate dropped. The JFK hospital was cleared of
trauma, man.
The trauma
Yeah,
unit
I
was cleared.
know how many times it went to trauma.
The trauma unit was cleared. I visited them the first time. That was where it brought tears to my eyes. I saw young Liberians being amputated, sitting on the floor. There's no bed for them. And I'm like, no, this is a country. After all, we are a civilized nation, irrespective of all of the shortcomings. And I had an opportunity to speak to Madame Salih, and she said, look, I've seen it, my son, you guys have to do something about it. I will take this at the cabinet level. She took it to cabinet. She saw it, and I was called in at the time. Rose Tracker was acting director of police. I was just a deputy, and Madam Christina Tar was Minister of Justice. So we took it out, and we were asked whether this was a possibility, and I said yes, we can do it because it is doable. These guys are human beings. It's just that enforcing the law, you have to be very firm. You have to be consistent, and you have to be persistent, and you have to be fair in the execution of the law. This is not a law crafted by A.B. Krumah or anybody else. This is our law. And if there's a policy derived out of this process, it has to be respected. So you don't do that and then fall back on your left foot and say, well, you know what, this is Liberia. No, we refuse to do that. So because we were very forceful in making it happen, folks thought it was A.B. Krumah trying to enforce the law. Man, the man had come from New Jersey. He wanted to come and enforce his will on the people of Liberia. And I said, no, it wasn't like that. I'm just a police officer enforcing the law. And eventually, when we took them off, before taking them off, we had a meeting with the motorcycle union. And it was agreed by all of us that we signed up on the documentation that there would be an enforcement and there would be a restricted movement to the feeder roads. And you will not have the motorcyclists on the highway and the rest of it. And while doing that process, the KK came into being. We said to them, KK, yeah, you've come, welcome, but you're not going to be on the highway. You're not going to be anywhere that you can be interacting, that you will be interacting with trucks and all of these heavy moving vehicles. We agreed to that. It was signed between us and the months of, but only to find out that 5%. Now I can tell you this clearly: 95% of the young guys that you see riding bike are very good guys. Are guys who are doing it to pay their school fees, pay their rent, and find money, find food, business for them and the family. But the 5% is the tax rate. The 5% point, those guys are the bad guys. Those are the robbery folks. Those are the armed robbers that are not motorcyclists, but they have motorbike. So the real motorcyclists are there trying to find a way for living. The other guys are waiting for an opportunity to actually victimize folks out there. So they were my target. Those are the guys that I said in all of my briefing to the police officers and even to our intelligent people that we have to segment, we have to divide and separate these guys, the real motorcyclists, from these bad guys who victimizing our folks. And to a larger extent, we asked for my successes. Those are some of the stuff we did. We separated the bad guys in the motorcyclist union from the good guys. And then we found a way to actually arrest them, pack some of the bikes in so many cases. But then when we're going after the bad guys, the good guys too, because of the commonality of purpose, they decided to join those guys in becoming disgruntled in so many times.
Yeah.
Gradually, that was the tax I had. That was the frustration. That was the problem I had.
In the name of defending their cause.
Look at the good guy. I said, look, listen, this guy, I was on Broad Street one time where this guy, the lady had just left UBA Bank up there towards up there. He had just left the place. She had just left, and then as soon as she got out of the bank, this guy snatched her purse, $2,000, her passport, her everything is in it, and I was right there. I had to put a chase for him. I couldn't wait, so I would chase him. I didn't bother him. We went all around the town. I put the siren on, and luckily for me, nobody got hurt. But we didn't bother him till he rode the town till his gasoline finished. So we ended up on the old road with a little bag in his hand, and the bike and I moved. And I told him, I pull out my weapon. I said, one move, you be sorry. So you're not gonna go far. So he lied down by his back and with a my bag, he put a bag on his shoulder. He said, I'm here. Please sorry for me. And basically, we took the one bag for him, and he had not taken anything for him. And where he was arrested and placed back in the go. But a guy like that, we allow that kind of guys. So if used to chase motorcyclists, those are some of the instances that we chase them out. And if I wasn't there, that lady passport, her money would have been gone. And that those are some of the things that I thought we were very happy at, and we have to.
Lieutenant curfew.
Yes.
Curfew was equally undone. Lifted by the government, and so they are out. Motorcyclists are out as lately as early as 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, and in fact, the new wave now is they have cutlasses with them and are placing other motorcyclists under point. Unless you leave the motorcycle with them, they're gonna cut you off.
That is another frustrating part that it baffles me to see that when the ban was lifted, not particularly lifted to a life, because they were told to go to the zone that we had already cut them off from. And the reason we cut them off because there was a propensity. If you allow them to go that route, they will use that to violate another route, and eventually the whole situation will be broken. And I pleaded with the folks at the time, look, don't undo this stuff. Allow this stuff to go. This is no political thing, because these guys have no loyalty. They don't have any political persuasion. They don't have any ideological basis for the action. They just want to make ends meet. And the bad guy wants to have the opportunity to go to crowded areas so they can snatch people, so they can victimize people. The good guys want to have the opportunity to reach out to places where they can't reach so they can make more money. But then that has its own consequences. You go to those places, you'll be violating, and you have the disorderliness, you have the lawlessness, all combined. So it was our own way of trying to try to make sure that we have sanity in the society. And to a larger extent, it worked for us, but it became a little difficult when things changed around in the name of politics. I'm not a politician. I can tell you that clearly. I have no political party. So I just said, well, this is what it is. I'll let it be. I'm going to go back in my shell. And
no, it pains you that
very much.
Something you all planned and executed, it is lifted, and you see the aftermath. The repercussion is deadly.
It's bad, but at the end of the day, the becoming the new normal now. So, but I will hope that Mr. Sulu is working on a lot of stuff. I saw him working on these issues the other day, and I was hoping that the election security should not be combined with the regular security that you have.
So we're coming to that one next. We are in election, and election is equally about security because ballot papers, ballot boxes, we have to be manned. You don't use robot, you use human beings. These human beings must be recruited, trained, and deployed, and the expectations are there. What is the role, or what are the roles of a police officer or security apparatus in electionary period with your experience?
Well, I think the police officer will be the central point. That's what I asked the other day. I was on another radio station, and I asked the government, most of the finance ministry, do not cut police immunities. during this very serious time. But now the police officers should have been deployed to all of the rural counties. I will hope that that has been done during the campaign period because there are people campaigning in different areas. And I'm sure that the legal counties through the senior inspector, they're taking hold of that. The current deputy inspector general of police operations, a very fine man, who basically understand that tactics and you have to be very proactive. I was just with him yesterday, and we went through some of these processes. He understands that these things have to do, but honestly, he can't come out of me yelling and say we need support, need support. I can do that right now, saying he needs support. He needs to be supported. He's a good guy who basically have a good intention, but the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Justice, we have to now plead with the Ministry of Finance. These police officers should be deployed. They should have all of their alignment, and so as to be able to address the potential imminent and present danger that we will face. And I can tell you clearly that we will have to start to focus on that aspect of it. And the presence of police officers in these arrangements, from our own experience, was very good because what it did for us was that if somebody wanted to do bad, you find the presence of police officer, you have a change of mind one way or the other because this is election. And because we were so, I understand the police guys have been going through some training at the neck, through some NGO intervention. That's fine. We went through a lot of them as well. But I'm saying they have to be deployed. They have to be a proactive approach towards this particular process. As we got about 3-4 years. How long the
5 years now since the campaign.
And the guys should be deployed in all of these corners so as to avert and plan for some of these things and proactively address some of the fear and some of the problems that you have in the various campaign centers and the various counties. Because at the end of the day, it is going to be the fairness and the piety of the election will be determined by all of these situations, including security. That is not a here to. It makes it difficult for all of us as well.
Okay, so passionate plea to the government of Liberia to support the Liberian National Police, and Haji Abi Kroma is saying it is not good at this time to cut the police amenities, allotment or whatsoever. But is it good enough to recruit all the time during the election period? I'm seeing new batch out. They are on internship in the streets. Some people are referring to them as corruption recruits. Some people are hailing them. Some people are saying, why now to recruit? Is it a normal thing?
Well, yeah. Well, basically, I know the last time when we conducted the last election, we were told they needed to up the number just to meet the realities of the day. I'm one person who feels that you must have a supported police organization. You can have the numbers are good, but I think that the guys that are there will have to be supported. You have to get patrol cars. You have to give the people uniform. You have to get them you get a uniform so that they can have the opportunity to have officer present. If you got 2 officers here and well dressed, making that person felt, that has its own deterrent effect. Instead of getting numbers and you can't logistically address that problem, then it makes it realistically address the problem. It makes it difficult for the effect that you should have. I'm a top now when it comes to that. I'm a what we call in criminal justice a consequentialist. I'm one person when you do the crime, you have to do the time. I am a conservative when it comes to crime fighting. I'm a liberal politically and other stuff. But when it comes to crime, I am a serial conservative. I want tough laws. I want to make sure that those laws are enforced. I want to make sure I measure a deterrent effect will have to come from specific and general deterrence in my book. When you want to make sure that somebody is not a recidivist, you have to be very fast in punishing the person, and the punishment must be very, very, very strong so that the next time the man is thinking, he does not have pleasure in committing the crime, because Once the man feels that he can get pleasure, the punishment is less, and the guy will feel that he basically can do it again. I feel when you get the man, you should do it within the confine of the law. And this is the problem I have with most Liberians. There's no way they're forming beyond the confirmation of the law, because we conform ourselves to making sure if the sentencing guidelines is 1 to 10, I give you 6. So next time when you doing that, you the taxi driver, you pass the one way, and I find you the first time around. Remember how long you been at you? I've done it to my first time. I'm not happy again. Okay, I'll let you go. The second time, I will arrest you. I throw the book at you. I give you a ticket. The ticket is 5.
That's how they're supposed
That's how
to
it's
be, or that's how you operate.
When
first time warning.
The second time, I gave you the ticket, because the first time you got it, and I educated you. I'm telling you, look, the one way, these are the danger. You have to unite. People's life will be at stake. The guys that are riding with you, their life, and the other guys that are coming the one way, life is in your hand. So you don't do it the next time. Yeah, okay, chief, will not happen again. Don't do it. I'll take your number, take your license plate. I'll let you go. The next time in the very same area, you are caught there, that means you basically need to be told that you violated the law. And I'll let you go. If the punishment is 1 to 10, I give you a 6. And the next time you think about doing it, you look at the pleasure for that punishment, and you look at the pain that you're going to be getting from the punishment, you will decide for the pain, and you're not going to do it. That's deterrent effect.
Before we open the lines, I know you're not a police authority, but you can be a consultant.
Yes.
You can answer most of the questions
Sure.
on this. What is the theory about police aid? I mean, I'm traveling to Saclay, and from Saclay, I'm Ganta, just entering Ganta, and I've stopped to a checkpoint. The young man who is there manning the gate, are you a police officer? He said, yes. I said, let me see your badge. I need to see your badge number. Then the police officer, who is probably, I want to believe, the head of the checkpoint, said, no, excuse me, sir, this man, we're punishing this man because he came and broke through our checkpoint. So we ask him to stay to man the checkpoint until we can release him.
No.
What do we do with police aid? It's all over the place. All the place you go on the highway, they set police patrol team, they're there, the officer, they set him with his badge, well dressed, but the people who come in to interact with the drivers are the police aid. What do we do with them? How do you recruit them?
I do not conform to this police aid thing, because these are the guys I went after when I was doing regular patrol in the community, because they have no respect for the citizens, because they think there's no there's no repercussion for the action. They just do it, and then the citizen will look at them as being the police officer who's misbehaving, when in fact they are not. So at the end of the day, the reputation of the police will just go down. I went after them, we got them off the street in Douala. You can find them in Douala, you can find them in Junction, New Jersey Junction, Red Light,
and
all the checkpoints around. It is unfair to the police department for these guys in these D-war areas to recruit these folks. You're doing harm to the police, because these guys who have no bandwidth, they will stretch their hand and accept bribe right in the open. And people think the policeman is accepting bribe, but they are not police officer. They just aid who wearing blue shirt and blue pants. And I think it's a service to the profession. And I will not sit supinely to allow guys to tarnish the reputation of the institution that I love so dearly.
Okay, so Magdalene will manage a call for at least 5 minutes. I think we can take 5 to 6 calls within 5 minutes. Then you can use the rest of the 5 minutes to address it. That is, if it's not complimentary.
Of course, I can rest assured there'll be no compliment. There'll be not much complimentary.
Okay.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Madeline and Chris, and the former police officer there.
Yes, sir.
My name is Harford, and I want to agree with him. You cannot have two children in the home, and you're not able to take care of the two children, and you keep breaking another children. You're going to just cause starvation. They are not going to be well catered to.
Okay.
The present force within the police need to be well equipped and trained, but instead, in people that were not well catered to, provide those needed services that they need to be able to function properly, and just bringing them in. They need to take care of the folks that are there first, make sure everything is intact with them before bringing in other people.
All right. Okay. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, hello, this is MAGDALENE.
Sir.
Let me say hello to Chris. Let me say hi to someone who to Ikoma.
Thank you.
Ikoma, thank you very much for giving. This is the right here for the board of moving things. On the Ikoma, let me just say this. Yeah, go without. What people will now listen to you. People went to help you. You're only a director now. Yeah, where are you now wearing out there? They will now listen to you.
Okay.
My question is, the provisional work in one county, and these people will benefit the place, and the next thing is that we see the analysis of this case. But today, we talk about the same issues around here, they work with them. Then when you call them, they say they don't have logistics. And the government, because they put it back. Today, when you go to the police station, you go to the Lord's company, they will tell you, say, the police now take the chat up, put it back, let's go. Is that the rest of the training of a police officer? Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. All right. Hello.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Jemela Tijuo.
Yeah, quickly.
I want to ask everyone if you have two questions. My first question to do with is security fund and own. The solution that the owner pays the gas, and the second is the way they are paid. How true it is. Because this is a still security set.
You talking about police?
Yeah, no, you're talking about your
my private security guy. Oh, yeah.
You will respond to him, Jeff.
Yeah.
Let's take no, sir. Okay, all right. Emma Hammer, hello. Yes, sir.
Let me appreciate this afternoon on a bigger platform. We 62 days of election. And today, the police of Makirika and other county have been challenged with mobility. What about the common Labiro to see how our police can have people in the east, the political territory, the political state of Florida was saying, why you to the election is not to repay, we have political every look of our country. What about doing our country? What kind of mobility? Thank you so much.
Right. Hello. Yeah, there's terrible feedback, Chief. Yeah. Yes, sir. Just have a. I don't know where are you going? It's so terrible. Yeah. Yeah. Go on, please.
Yeah. Let me say good afternoon to everyone. The name is William Cobb. Joining this conversation today. Let me appreciate him so much for his composition. You know, let's bring him on the shortcomings. I believe if you command down at 102, his shortcoming was the enforcement of the motorcyclist. And before we started in the enforcement of that law, let's declare it is true that yes, criminals were more the time he to choose, but in my presence to 72nd junction, a motorcyclist for just getting on a no-go zone. And no-go zone was just a violation, it was now a crime. At the time to take that man, put him in the pickup to carry the man to jail. At the time, one of our junior people here, called Ranger, his name is Ranger. Ranger just telling me that Ranger telling me cannot be from here. You can't hit this man, you want to carry the man. The man cannot be from here. And I tell the man that I don't motorcycle. And he called for Ranger to be arrested and jail Ranger at the time to center for a few days. And you know, for me, that was the person I was at the time. And even when as far as what I would do about Nigerian nationality, to spray motorcycle in this country for $10, one motor by $10 US.
Mm.
That was the order from the president.
No, no, no. No, no.
Okay.
The president, before the president said, oh, they want to feel that we did that order. Someone they want to follow that if you come out with guys,
No.
union that is down.
No.
Okay, all right, okay.
Okay, so he will
Okay,
respond now.
yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
take the last
All right.
one. Take the
Yeah.
last
Let me do the last one, and that is.
No,
Just
you will
Oh,
respond.
okay.
Yeah, we take at least 2 or 1.
No, one more.
One more. Okay. Hello. Yes, sir.
So, he will and call from Ralph Yahweh. I must congratulate your guest studio here. He's a professional man. Listen to him, you know, the way he, let's say, he is privileged. I think the government of the report that we read shouldn't allow him to just hold it down. We know that we must be assistant. Bring in the system so that they can clean our boys. You know, because you have the expertise. Thank you so much.
But
Thank you.
I don't know when he was relieved of his position.
No, he was not. He remained in power until inauguration day when everyone turned over.
I mean, we got 2 more days to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I mean, we can take course, right?
No, we can't take
All
calls.
right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Chief, you heard the
Yes.
caller.
Let me address the last guy with the $10 and the Nigerian guy and the coloring of the bike. That is not true. That is falsehood. There's no way we want to tax the guys to do whatever they do. When I went to Rwanda, and I went to the chief of police conference, the Southern chief of police conference. I invited there. While there in Rwanda, Kigali, I saw the way they were structured, and they were unified. The uniform they had the
got color code.
color coded. Yes. So we came back. When we came back to Monrovia, I approached the Minister of Transport and a couple of other folks that this was a good idea for us to actually have the people demarcated based upon color, so that when this man is in violation, is in this town, you know exactly what color he's wearing. And then the recommendation was left, and nobody acted on it. I left it as it is. To say it, I had a Nigerian guy working on it. No, the guys in West Point decided to take up on their own that they don't want to be maligned any longer. They're going to now color themselves so that when they are back, because people will leave from town and come to Waterside and West Point, and then they have the shorthand of that arrangement. So they were color coding their bike so that people coming there, they can now distinguish them. And it was left for them to do it. The EB Kruma had nothing to do with whatever arrangement they had in getting that thing color coded. I mean, that was far-fetched, basically. But then I didn't have any intervention from the president in regards to that particular person. And the fact that they were doing it amongst themselves and with their own arrangement, I didn't have any. But it was less about, it was too minute for me to actually focus on color coded at that level. Since in fact, I put it at the Ministry of Transport, I put it at the motorcycle union. They have not taken up on it. The union took it 1 or 2 places, but I was not bothered with that. I just bothered by making sure the guys remain in the confines of the territorial limit that was had for them. One number 2, the issue with regards to our enforcement, the tactics that were employed by us was something that they want to happen in the 72nd area. It was just complete lawlessness that was employed by this dude. The last time he was pulled over, nobody hit him. He saw the bike coming in. He saw the 1 or 2 car. He decided to sweat himself to run off. And in the process, he had somebody sit in the back of the bike. I remember that. And most of the accident has always been for fear. Once 1 or 2 cars spotted, they want to go out and then they fall off. And somebody was riding with this guy. The person, when he fell off, the lady there, while focusing and trying to lead him to hospital while he was on the bike, this ranger or whatever his name is became disgruntled and became violent and got people to start throwing stones and the rest of it. But he was arrested, and I made sure he was prosecuted. He was sent to Central Prison for that. And those are the issues that we had. At the end of the day, we're trying to be firm, making sure that provide the level of security for the rest of the folks that were not part and parcel of your business. There's another one. The other question that has to do with participating in, and I like the guy with the comment where he said we needed to be. We stay around. After I left, I'm stay here. I still interact with the police on the regular basis. I was at the police headquarters yesterday. We provide whatever information we had because it is in my interest to find a functional police force because I'm running the private security arrangement now, and that arrangement will have to be supported by the LMP. And so we got vested interest in getting the LMP on good footing. And the issue of the guy who's saying that the guys are underpaid. Oh yes, I'm having a business. I'm doing business. We have profit, and this is not LMP where we providing service free. And this I'm providing service, and I'm getting. I discuss contract with my client. The contract offer me certain level of payment, and I call you. I bring you in. This is how much I'm going to pay you. We agreed on it. You sign the contract, and that's how you get paid, bro. It is not. That's not how. That's basically. This is not something that you force. And this is a process where you come in, you want to walk out the next day. You walk out. It's free. You free to go. So,
Yeah, and then someone said that they shouldn't let you go, and now we have 62 days to elections. I mean, they got. Oh, you replace something? Yes. So if you've given the opportunity to serve again, will you take it as?
Yeah, every now and then I'm on the radio, I'm on some public arrangement. People ask this question. I am a little Madingo guy from Compass City, Nima County. I am a Liberian, basically focused on trying to be part and parcel of the governing structure. I'm still a government functionary as far as my training and alliance are concerned. I'm now doing a very good business. I'm fine. My level is good. I'm employing pretty close to 1,000 Liberians at this point in time, and so I'm very comfortable. But again, as a Liberian, when you are called among 5 point couple of more million people by the president or by the government, it is the nationalistic instinct will always come in to say, look, let me serve. I've been serving since I was 18 years old. And so we'll always give credence to that. The last time when I was fired by Madam Sally, I went back to the States, and she went back. She said she did hire me back to work. I would have said, look, I'm tired. I was fired. There has to be a reason. I didn't get that reason, but because I trust in the leadership. The president will always be somebody that knows more than others. That's God's presence in life. So when she called for us to start to work again, I took the bull by the horn. I was doing well in the States at the time, and so I'm back here. I'm doing pretty well, to be honest with you. I'm not knock on wood. If I said differently, I would go punish me. But so I'm good. But again, when I'm called as a Liberian, we will always come to the clearing court of the government.
Okay. So I will just try to find an audio where this color coding, the current police inspector general even mentioned it. He announced it. Would have been executed, but didn't. Let me see where this is it. Okay, so I will try to check it up. That is not after the moment when he spoke at Zone 5 the last time when he announced that there will be a call-up meeting. So it's not
No,
something.
it's something we suggested.
According to the current RG, he said, if you are red in pins and a red motorbike is seeing in Douala, they know where you're
Exactly.
coming from.
That's
What are you doing here, Chief?
Shouldn't be.
What are you doing here? You brought passenger? Okay, can we see your identity? But all the motorbikes, if it is not black, it is blue. If it is not blue, it is red. And then that's it. Thank you so much for coming, Chief. Let's do this most of the time. Anytime security issues arise, we can call on you to discuss. We intentionally decide not to do politics.
No.
We want to do security all through this segment. Thank you so much.
It is again a pleasing pleasure to your co-host, Madeline. I'm very impressed by your poise and the level of structure you have. And again, it is a pleasing pleasure. We've always made ourselves available anytime you want to talk. I'm just next door. I'm on AB Tupper Road. And so anytime, just give me a call. I will just drive in and will be of help. But I appreciate State of the Nation.
Thank you so much. And that is on AB Kroma, Hachi AB Kroma, Kroma Police 102. And now in private life, about contributing to the security of the nation, giving pieces of advice. It's on Wednesday today. Tomorrow's Thursday. Magdalene will drill you through on tomorrow, and Friday is like I'm taking my weekend break so early on Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay. See you on Monday, but Magdalene will be here on tomorrow and Friday.